morning, everyone. I still see some people who are trickling into this workshop. So just while everybody's joining us, I invite you to the Dealing with Bilingual Health Workforce Shortages, How to Adapt to These Challenging Times workshop. So if you want in the chat, we invite you to let us know where you're from, since we might have people joining us from across Canada. And we'll kind of get an idea of who is here at the workshop today. So feel free to let us know if you're joining us from either BC or Alberta or Maritime provinces or Ontario. So while we start slowly, my name is Geneviève Laferrière, and I'm the project coordinator for the French Language Health Network of Central Southwestern Ontario. I am also the project coordinator for the Equity Link platform and will be your moderator for this workshop. So the workshop today is presented in English, and we really wanted to create an inclusive space for all. So that is why we invite you to ask your questions in either French or English, and have provided a bilingual slide deck, as well as have made interpreters available and on hand. So you may choose to follow along with the original audio feed, which may alternate between both French and English, or select the interpretation feed at the bottom of the screen, which is represented by the globe icon. So if you have any questions throughout the session, feel free to write them in the chat or use the reaction button to raise your hand virtually, and we will direct them to the experts. We also have polls that are programmed throughout this session, which are entirely anonymous, and we encourage your participation. Now for setting the stage, I hope you've been enjoying the Rendez-vous Santé en Français and that you were able to participate to other sessions over the past 2 days. There's been various interesting topics, but for me, there's been one recurring theme in every session I've attended, whether it is on standards, on mental health, or even Dr. Boland's reflection on the Société Santé en Français and the network's evolution over the past 20 years. It is that health workforce or health human resources are one of the biggest challenges facing our systems today. And it's no wonder. Healthcare workers are one of the greatest assets of Canada's healthcare systems. However, pre-pandemic shortages and challenges have been exacerbated over the last few years. Early retirements, moral injury, employee burnout are just some examples of why we are witnessing increased wait times and even reduced access to critical services. And when we add the requirement of French language as a competence, the available pool of potential candidates reduces even more and increases the challenges for healthcare organizations looking to offer services to Francophone and Acadian population across this country. But bilingual healthcare workers do exist. According to the latest Statistics Canada report on knowledge and use of official minority languages at work by healthcare workers, there has been an increase of 43.1% of healthcare workers outside of Quebec who could speak French between 2001 and 2016. Of those, 97.7% were bilingual English and French. But unfortunately, only 5.2% of these French-speaking healthcare workers use French in the workplace. So the question is this: how can organizations attract, retain, and make sure that bilingual professionals use their competence in these challenging times? Société Santé en Français and the 16 French language health networks have collaborated with various health system partners and stakeholders over the past 20 years and developed the knowledge, skills, and attitudes to create the winning conditions to increase access to French language health, social, and community services. We launched the Equity Link platform in March 2021 to gather the relevant resources to support healthcare managers in the implementation of proven strategies and tools from national and international sources. We are also continuously adding new content. The latest resource, Bilingual Health Human Resources 2.0, is a modernized version of the Health Human Resource Strategy. 5 years after the launch of that resource, it needed to be revamped and better aligned with current day issues, like inclusion, diversity, equity, and accessibility, as well as having less of a strictly human resource approach to a broader talent management strategy. This free online resource, thanks to the funding of Health Canada and its tools, is what today's workshop is all about. You will find the links to the relevant sections related to the tools explored today on the slide deck, which will be made available after this workshop. We also invite you to create your Equity Link account if you have not already done so, to access additional information and the full bilingual health workforce strategy content after this workshop. I'm glad to have 3 special guests, and yes, we do have a surprise guest with us today for this workshop. Mathilde Lacoste, who will be our facilitator, and not 1, but 2 experts in the field of health human resources and talent management strategies, Maurice Lemaire and Giulio Cicora. Mathilde, Maurice, Giulio, welcome.
Thank you, Geneviève. So hi, everyone. I hope that you can hear me well. I'm Mathilde. I'll be your facilitator today. I have a background in creativity and collaboration techniques, and as well as background in project management, content creation, and education. I've myself struggled with bilingual, like recruiting bilingual resource when I was working, and I'm really glad to be here with you today. So if you have any questions about how the day is going to be, how we're going to spend our time together, or anything like that, you can refer to me. If not, if it's more of a specific questions on the tool, the strategies we're going to use, I'm going to introduce you to Maurice. Maurice, that's your cue.
Thank you, Mathilde. I'm struggling finding the unmute button again. Hi, everyone. Maurice Lemaire. I am a director at SIA Partners. I'm happy to be here today. I had the privilege to work with Geneviève alongside Giulio into the development of the resource. So that's why we're here, to be able to provide you some insights, as you will be, Mathilde will walk you through the déroulé for today, but provide you some insight as we go through. So again, happy to be here, and I'll pass it on to Giulio.
Hello, everyone. Giulio Cicora. I'm a senior HR consultant with SIA Partners and Maurice's team. I'm glad to be here. There's a lot of information. I'm hoping that everyone could learn something, take something from this, and also, if you have any questions or any comments, please feel free to join the conversation. Very important for us to get your feedback, and this will, enable your colleagues as well to learn from today's session. So I'm happy to be here, and I'm glad, and I hope everyone's gonna participate. Thanks.
Thank you, Giulio. Thank you, Maurice, and thank you, Geneviève. To continue this session, to make the most of our time together, I invite you to follow these some little rules. So first, just trying to be present and avoid distractions. I know it's hard, especially in virtual, but if you have to close some tabs, if you have to, tell the kids to go play or do a puzzle, maybe. I know it's hard, but if you can, we will really appreciate your undivided attention. If you can open your camera, that's always nice. A little bit later, we're going to have group discussion, and it's always nicer to speak to a face rather than a black square on a screen. It's already so amazing to see people from Sudbury, to see people from BC, Hamilton, and I feel like having our cameras open will just help with that proximity. Then don't be afraid to take your space to speak up. We really want to hear everybody's opinion, and it is a group discussion. And don't be afraid as well to leave some space for others. So just be mindful of the space you are taking in a group. And if you feel like you're talking a lot, I'm sure everybody has really good ideas and really good things to share, but it's nice also if everyone can speak. And finally, try to be open to different experience and perspectives. We're not here to judge. We're just here to really exchange with peers, exchange about challenges that might be tough, might be triggering. So just be mindful of your own posture throughout the workshop. On the menu today, so we're already almost done with the introduction. For the icebreaker, I'll launch a poll in the chat in a few seconds. So after I go through the agenda. After that, we'll go through a group discussion in breakout rooms. So you'll be assigned a tool randomly. To know which tool you've been assigned, you can look at the title of your breakout room. And then you'll have 35 minutes or so, maybe a little bit more since we've been quick on the introduction, to share about challenges. And you'll have a really good time to share. And you have some prompts, questions, sorry, to make sure that you are guided in that discussion. During that time, if you need an expert, you can always write in the chat and Julio or Maurice will pop in your breakout room to answer all your questions. And then we'll come back to the plenary session and have a group share out. And finally, we'll end with some closing remarks and a last poll to make sure that everybody appreciated the workshop. Is there any questions before I launch the poll? Is there anyone who cannot see the chat? I'll take that as a no. Great, so I'll launch the first poll. So basically we want to know, have you had the chance to explore the online resource already? So the Bilingual Health Resource Strategy 2.0, yes or no? And did you attend the webinar, How to Stand Out in the Hunt for Bilingual Talent in Healthcare, yes or no? And what are your expectations for this workshop? So is it to gain confidence in using the attraction and retention tools? Is it to discuss your challenges and opportunities? Is it to learn about new ways to use attraction and retention tools? Or is it something else? If it's something else, we invite you to write it in the chat box so we can read it out loud. I'll leave you a little 2 minutes to do that. And I'll share the results, which are, as Geneviève said, anonymous.
Matilda, I also see that we have people from New Brunswick, even Northwest Territories joining us, Northern Ontario. So quite a diverse group, Manitoba, Quebec, Newfoundland, and Labrador.
Wow, and lots of time zones too. So I have a few people who answered. I'll give you another 30 seconds. So if you haven't had the chance, okay, we have Diane who says that she's more of an observatrice and that she's a member of the CA. You're welcome, Diane. And if you want to participate in the discussion, sometimes as an exterior point of view, it's always nice to have different perspectives. It's been 2 minutes, so I will now end the survey. So I will share the results. So most of you have not had the chance to explore the online resource, so 79%. So as Geneviève said, the links for the different resources will be available in the shared deck that we're going to share a little bit later. And 95% of you did not attend the webinar either. So I think for a lot of you, those tools will be new. And so that explains why most of you want to learn about new ways to use attraction and retention tools. And as for other responses, just curiosity. Okay, awesome. Well, welcome again, and thank you for that. I'll stop sharing this. Great. I'll walk you through the next steps. So for the group discussion, I will share a little link to this PowerPoint right there that I'm sharing right now. Basically, in your breakout room, we invite you to open the shared deck via the link that's going to be shared in the chat. Then you can choose a representative to take notes. You're going to have assigned slides. And the note taker is also invited to share their screen with other participants when in the breakout room, if you can. If not, you can all meet on the same slide. For each breakout room, you're going to have basically this. So the title of the team, you're going to have an overview of the tool. These are provided in French and English for each tool. And then you'll have key points for this tool that are written by Maurice. So just like an overview of the tool or the strategy. And then you have an opportunity Canva. So this is your mission as a group. You have to discuss the tool and basically try to answer these questions. So who will this tool benefit to? Is it an employee, a group of employee, a professional group? Who would see their challenges eased with this tool? Then you can go through the question, which is, what is your goal? What is it you're trying to achieve with this tool? You can list 2 of your main goals or more. And then how can this tool help you achieve your goal? So we want 3 benefits of using this tool to do so. And share an example of how you would use this tool to help with a challenge. And finally, the how. So what is something you like about this tool? If you could change something about it, what would it be? And finally, if you have questions about the tool, share one thing that you would like to have more details or insight on during the share out. So I will share the link in the discussion. Oh, sorry. Here we go. I invite you to open it, and then Jérémy, we can start the breakout rooms repetition. I know that our employer brand team had a really good speech prepared. So they did not fill the canvas. They were a little bit mischievous, but I know they had really great discussion. And I think we have someone who's willing to share a little bit more about their employer branding strategy, if I understood that right. So take it away.
Sure. So I'm going to stick with the English because I've been speaking French all day and I'd like to switch it up a little bit. So we kind of took a bit of a sideline and spoke about issues with recruitment and retention in general from an employer's perspective. So we discussed how things have changed, particularly in nursing, for example. A lot of people are leaving to go and do travel nursing simply because it leads to more flexibility, better pay, etc. And then we got into sort of the idea that nowadays pay isn't the only factor. And in fact, it's not often the major factor anymore. People are looking for good work environments. They're looking for flexible hours or the flexibility in their workspace. They want to be able to work remotely. They want to be able to provide care virtually as opposed to in clinic all the time. They're also looking for opportunities for say like fixed amounts of money provided by their employer for training. Also things like daycare. A lot of hospital workers are looking to have daycare being provided through the hospital. So we're seeing this shift in the way people are looking for jobs within the healthcare system. And we were talking about how it's not really easy for the employers to kind of make that shift and adapt to that and find solutions for it. So it's a process that's sort of ongoing, and we're seeing this sort of transformation. Our healthcare systems in Canada are being completely restructured, which is a great opportunity for Francophone organizations, because when you're breaking everything down, that's the perfect time to insert things like bilingual signalization and at better active offer and possibilities of partnerships before they start building everything back up. So one of the examples that we were talking about is we took this crisis, this shortage in healthcare professionals here in Newfoundland and Labrador. And I said, well, we have time, we have resources. Maybe we can sort of sell ourselves to the partners that are looking to hire internationally and see if we can make ourselves crucial or invaluable in that process. So we received funding to go to Destination Canada, which is an immigration forum held in French each year. It's often overlooked by primarily Anglophone employers and governments. So we spoke to the professional colleges and boards. We spoke to the health authorities who were looking for employees, and we spoke to the provincial government and basically said, train us to be your representative. So for about 3 months or so, I got information shoved into my brain as quickly as possible to learn about everything from the process of qualification recognition all the way to job markets and health workforce planning. And so we're essentially going abroad on behalf of all of the different organizations that are involved in the various steps of getting people to work here. And we're going to go and sell basically their organization or that employer as best we can. And so a tool like Employer Brand sort of comes in that phase where we're highlighting things like incentives, working conditions, ways that they can be flexible, ways that they can provide professional growth, things like that. So we didn't really get into the tool as such, but that's sort of how we linked it into our examples. Is employers need to start thinking outside of the box, and this tool might be able to sort of help them do that.
Thank you so much for that overview. I think it would be a great example to write in the opportunity Canva of how you distinguish yourself with your employer brand. Maybe I can just share the tool real quick for those who haven't worked on it. And if you want to say a few words, Maurice or Julio, about the tool, I think that'd be great for people who haven't had the chance to see it. Is there anything you'd like to add about like employer branding in that situation?
That's the 4 Ps, Mathilde.
Oh, by me, excuse me.
But I can talk about the 4 Ps too. So.
Okay, there we go.
So the employer branding is really about, it goes hand in hand with the employee value proposition. It's what are you promoting? Similar as an organization try to promote itself to the markets. What are you How are you promoting being an employee in your organization? So it's essentially, what's in it for you as an employee? How can you develop your skills? How can you contribute to a mission, right? It can be how you will be working with your colleagues to advance something. So really, it's about you need to define what that is for your organization. And these are 4 axes where we can look. Where is the position, where is the organization, where is the notoriety, or other factors about how you collaborate for the creative people, for example. How you solve challenges. So in the questions that you had, they were all the same questions, but the goal was for you to think about how can I adapt this and use it from organization. And again, this can be very simple or very complex depending on organization and depending how much in depth you want to go. But at the simplest level is just to say, what's in it for somebody who wants to come and work for us? And as Jacqueline was mentioning, they're going out to say, okay, well, if you want to come and live, for example, you want to come and immigrate to Canada, so here are the steps you need to take, and this is why it's good for you to work in our province and to work for this organization or in this stream. So.
Thank you, Maurice. As an overview, I will launch a poll in the chat. So if you guys want to all join, basically we want to know, would you use the employer branding in the future? Would you be interested in learning more about it, and see if so, how? And did you understand how and when to use the employer branding? So it is live. I'm going to give you a minute and I will choose my next victim for the share out. Oh,
Close your cameras, no eye contacts.
Found someone. Awesome. Pretty positive so far.
What's interesting about employer branding is that it's, you know, to be fairly honest, it's something that it's key whenever you're even doing a job posting. There should be a statement as to why it's great to work for you, right? So, some organizations go through a full exercise. It can take months to develop it. In other cases, you can do it yourself just to think, okay, why do I like working here? That it's common with my colleagues. So definitely something that is great to use and put into at least a job posting.
I'm going to add something a little bit left field, but I actually think this tool is really useful for people looking for a job as well. When they're going through the interview process, to kind of take a look and see, okay, is this employer meeting all of my needs? So it can work both ways.
Jacqueline, come on, don't say that. No, but exactly, it's you know, that's the exact point, because people coming into your organization will be looking into that. So if you're telling them in advance, you know, they can do that assessment, and maybe you can sometimes, weed out some people, but at the same time, it might attract some others. But same for you, if you're looking to switch organization at some point, similarly, you can look at, hey, well, what's in it for me in that organization?
Thank you so much. We're going to go to the other team. So I selected the Fresh Eye Report team, l'équipe rapport d'étonnement. Do you have your representative? Avez-vous choisi quelqu'un pour vous représenter?
Oui, c'est moi.
Super. Donc, on t'écoute.
Parfait. Je vais essayer de faire ça assez rapidement aussi. Donc, à qui bénéficie à cet outil-là? On voyait à quelques niveaux au sein d'une organisation. Premièrement, l'équipe de gestion, l'équipe des ressources humaines, lorsqu'ils veulent faire à différentes étapes. Chez Maurice disait, on regardait, ça a été plus conçu peut-être pour la marque autour des 3 mois après l'embauche, mais nous, on voyait que ça pourrait être utile à différents moments, que ce soit lors, pas longtemps après l'embauche, justement, ou si l'organisme ou un département ou un service veut procéder à une espèce d'analyse ou d'auto-évaluation de quelconque, ça pourrait être intéressant. Aussi, un autre point qui a été mentionné, c'est lors d'un exit interview. Ça pourrait être fait aussi. Aussi même à un niveau organisationnel, ou comme je disais, un service département, s'il procède à des changements, ça peut être intéressant lorsqu'on a assez d'employés de faire un avant-après pour un peu voir si les changements ont eu des conséquences ou des effets à ce niveau-là. Puis on disait que ça pourrait aussi être intéressant pour les employés, ça peut leur bénéficier parce que ça montre vraiment qu'il y a une ouverture puis un esprit de collaboration de la part de l'employeur. Ensuite, c'était quoi les objectifs? Comme j'ai dit tantôt, un peu, ça permet de faire une espèce d'analyse de l'organisation, mais aussi d'améliorer les processus, les pratiques, outils d'embauche, d'intégration. Aussi, il y a quelqu'un qui a mentionné, c'est une bonne façon aussi peut-être de nous donner des idées pour formuler des questions d'entrevue. Encore là, ça encourage le dialogue entre les candidats et les futurs employés ou même les employés une fois qu'ils sont là et les gestionnaires ou les personnes en charge aux ressources humaines. Puis c'est aussi dans l'optique de capter what matters to you. Ça montre vraiment cette ouverture-là, justement, puis cette démarche-là. Comment ça peut nous aider à atteindre les objectifs. Une des choses qu'on trouvait, c'est que ça tenait compte des différentes étapes. Donc, j'imagine, Mathilde, tu vas peut-être le montrer un peu après ou quoi, l'outil. Il y avait genre lors de l'embauche ou lors de l'arrivée, lors de l'intégration, etc. Donc, on trouvait qu'il y avait un beau... ça montrait bien les différentes étapes, les différentes composantes lors de l'embauche. Ensuite, un exemple de la manière dont vous utiliseriez cet outil, encore là, question d'entrevue, outil d'évaluation progressif à différents niveaux. Sinon, c'est un outil qui est simple, facilement accessible. C'est un gabarit, dans le fond. C'est vraiment ça qui nous plaisait, je pense, à tout le monde dans notre groupe. C'est que les fournisseurs peuvent se l'approprier et l'adapter à leur guise. C'est ça qui fonctionne le mieux. Puis ouais, c'était pas mal ça en général. C'était très positif là, de notre côté.
Super. Maurice, est-ce qu'il y avait quelque chose que tu voulais ajouter? Ou Julio?
Non, c'était très complet. Puis, exactement, tu sais, j'ai rien à ajouter. Je vais dire la même chose.
Génial. Ben, merci beaucoup, Frédéric, d'avoir partagé le fruit de votre travail. Donc, même système, pas le bon outil, oui, c'est ce que je me disais. On a une belle ligne jaune maintenant. Donc, le Fresh Air Report. Excuse. Voilà. Donc, c'est ça ici. Vous avez le lien vers la ressource de équité. Je vais lancer dans le chat le sondage, donc même principe que tout à l'heure. Je vous invite à voter dans la prochaine minute. Super. Génial. Et 7 personnes. Donc, oui, en général, on a super bien compris l'outil. 100% des gens, 100% qui l'utiliseraient dans le futur. Génial. Et puis, si vous voulez en apprendre davantage, il y en a quelques-uns qui l'ont dit dans un autre webinaire, dans une ressource en ligne, vous en avez une. Dans une consultation personnalisée ou dans un workshop, on avait une personne pour chacun. Merci de votre participation. Il nous reste une équipe. Je crois que c'est l'équipe de onboarding. Ça ou c'est... J'ai perdu le
Plan d'intégration.
Oui, c'est ça, plan d'intégration.
Je vais je vais prendre la parole. Mes deux partenaires doivent partir pour ramasser leur enfant, ils n'auront pas le choix.
OK, pas de problème.
Au début, quand on a vu le plan d'intégration, on s'était dit quoi, comme 180 jours, c'est trop lent. Mais quand on a commencé à regarder aux questions et à répondre, on a fini par la fin que 180, c'est pas assez. Pour une intégration, en fait. Donc, à qui cet outil bénéficie? On a vu pour tout nouvel employé, superviseur et service des ressources humaines. Quel est votre objectif? Que cherchez-vous à atteindre? Il y en a plusieurs points. Accueillir et orienter convenablement un nouvel employé, gérer les attentes de l'employé, permettre une meilleure intégration du nouvel employé au sein de l'équipe, permet d'identifier les employés bilingues et leur intérêt à offrir des services bilingues, permet de renforcer la mission, la vision, les valeurs de l'institution, l'importance de desservir la minorité linguistique, permet de clarifier les tâches dans le temps. Comment cet outil peut-il nous aider à atteindre nos objectifs? Permet de clarifier et simplifier les tâches dans les temps, améliorer la qualité de service offerte, permet une meilleure rétention des employés, développer un sentiment d'appartenance et d'engagement. Donner un exemple. On a dit créer un climat qui est de confiance et d'accueil. Ça serait une bonne continuité de longue durée. En fait, on a regardé au point que si la durée n'est pas aussi longue que ça, peut-être même les gestionnaires, on va dire, mais les superviseurs, la qualité de leur service va pas être la même chose que quand ils embauchent l'employé. C'est pour ça qu'on a regardé s'assurer que la continuité de la longue durée du rôle du superviseur envers ses employés, ça peut jouer un rôle très important. Qu'est-ce que vous appréciez dans cet outil? Ça permet la sensibilisation linguistique et culturelle, la durée de l'accompagnement. En fait, le point linguistique, c'est pour clarifier que, parce que la plupart, on a dit qu'il y en a plusieurs anglophones, non, il y en a plusieurs employés dans le domaine de santé, même s'ils sont bilingues, ils vont choisir l'anglais pour parler. Pourtant, ils ont été engagés comme ils doivent parler aussi en français, mais ils choisissent toujours l'anglais. C'est pour ça qu'on a dit que la durée et cet outil peut servir sur la sensibilisation linguistique. Qu'est-ce qu'on peut changer? Selon la nature du projet, la durée de l'accompagnement. En fait, au début, comme j'ai dit, on a dit, oh, c'est trop long, 180 jours. Mais on a fini par dire, ça dépend du projet, parce que si c'est un projet de 3 mois, ça veut dire que ce n'est pas assez du temps, comme 180 jours, c'est 6 mois. Mais si c'est pour une période indéterminée, 180 jours, on trouve que ce n'est pas assez. Voire c'est une période indéterminée. Et quelles sont les questions? C'est juste qui fait quoi dans l'outil, comme l'outil lui-même, c'est qui doit le faire, le rôle de chacun, soit le superviseur, l'employé ou les ressources humaines aussi. Merci.
Merci beaucoup pour le partage. Super beau résumé. Maurice, est-ce que tu as un petit quelque chose à ajouter?
Je ne vais pas ajouter, mais j'aimerais aborder la question du qui fait quoi, parce que je la trouve intéressante. Puis là, je vais vous donner la réponse préférée des consultants qui est ça dépend. Puis là, je sens Giulio qui se roule les yeux parce qu'il m'entend souvent la dire, Mathilde aussi, donc désolé, je la répète souvent. Mais la réalité, c'est ça dépend de la taille de l'organisation, mais je pense que là, vous avez eu, si vous avez parlé des bonnes personnes, les ressources humaines, le superviseur, etc. En réalité, c'est un petit peu la combinaison de tout le monde, mais ça dépend qui est tout le monde-là dans l'organisation parce que plus on est petit, peut-être que le superviseur fait tout, c'est les ressources humaines, c'est la personne qui embauche tout ça. Dans d'autres organisations, tout est bien segmenté. Ce qui est important, c'est de bien clarifier le rôle et les responsabilités, effectivement. Donc, la question est très pertinente. Je pense qu'il n'y a pas de réponse aujourd'hui. Ça dépend de votre organisation, mais il faut que ça soit bien clair. Donc, si c'est une personne qui fait la plupart des choses, ben, autant que ce soit établi, que la personne ait le support ou les outils pour le faire, c'est ça qui va assurer le succès. Mais je pense que vous avez, la manière dont vous avez, tu sais, comment vous avez répondu aux questions, j'adore ça parce que c'est vraiment un petit peu l'optique que, oui, on se dit, tu sais, le 3 mois habituel de période de probation, il faut quand même aller un peu plus loin à 6 mois, puis hey, ça pourrait peut-être même prendre 1 an, on ne sait jamais. Tu sais, ça dépend du support que la personne a là. Puis dans un monde idéal, on s'adapte à la personne comme telle. Il y a des personnes que ça peut être un peu plus long que d'autres de se familiariser avec le tout selon c'est quoi le rôle. Donc,
on a pris en fait l'exemple, excusez-moi, l'exemple des immigrants dans ce cas-là. C'est parce que dans le plan d'intégration d'un immigrant, ça peut prendre pour être bien intégré, ça peut prendre 3 mois, comme ça peut prendre 2 ans. Ça, c'est pas du tout défini. C'est pour ça que vraiment, c'est la même chose en fait. Plan d'intégration, soit pour un nouvel arrivant ou bien pour un nouvel employé, c'est le même objectif en fait.
Super bon point. Il nous reste une grosse minute ensemble, puis ensuite de ça, pour ceux qui veulent se joindre à la plénière pour partager votre expérience, je sais qu'il y a une dernière séance là, un peu plus exprimez-vous sur votre expérience. Je vais lancer le dernier sondage sur l'outil Onboarding Plan. Donc, il est disponible dans le chat dès maintenant. Vous pouvez vous aller voter, je pense.
On ne le voit pas présentement, Mathilde.
Ah, OK. Pardon. J'essaie de faire ça vite. OK. Là, il devrait être là.
Peut-être question de temps pendant que vous prenez le temps pour remplir les questions. Je vais me permettre parce que je pense qu'au début, on avait des participants anglophones, mais là, on est tous entre francophones. Alors, merci de votre flexibilité d'avoir participé à l'atelier dans les 2 langues. Un grand merci à Mathilde, Maurice et Giulio de vous être rendus disponibles, d'avoir créé cette opportunité-là où les gens avaient la chance de s'approprier des outils. Alors, un grand merci tout le monde. Bonne continuité et fin de rendez-vous et à la prochaine.
Merci Geneviève. Merci. Donc, la plupart d'entre vous, 100% qui ont compris les outils, 100% qui voudraient l'utiliser dans le futur et plusieurs d'entre vous encore qui voudraient peut-être la ressource en ligne qui est toujours disponible, je vous le rappelle. Je vais mettre fin au sondage. J'en ai un petit dernier pour vous, c'est juste sur le feedback en fait là, pour l'atelier. Donc, j'espère que ça vous a plu. Désolée pour ceux qui se sont retrouvés en 2 salles. Malheureusement, c'est pas aussi facile que de changer d'une table à une autre en virtuel. Donc, est-ce que j'espère que quand même vous avez eu du plaisir à échanger avec vos pairs, à découvrir des nouveaux outils puis à vous les approprier et qu'on a quand même un peu rempli les attentes pour cet atelier-là. Et puis, pour ceux de toutes les zones, for all time zones, bonne fin de journée, bon début de journée, je ne sais pas trop. Ça dépend, j'imagine, de où vous êtes. Et puis, c'est ça. Puis, je vous souhaite une belle continuation, puis bonne chance pour le recrutement, puis l'attraction des talents bilingues.
Au revoir.
Au revoir tout le monde.